Points, where we experience the finer points of gaming. I'm your host, Michael Winters, as always here with my good friend Joe Edelsack.
How's it going, guys?
As you can see, tonight we are going to be playing Borderlands 2 from Gearbox Software. Joe has decided now to play as the Gunzerker character because we had done a small poll on Facebook that I think 4 people total replied to, and it was a 4-way tie between the Gunzerker, the Siren, the Mechromancer, and someone had wrote in the word Kitty, which is not a real option. But so Joe actually ended up deciding that he wanted to do Gunzerker, which I think is a great choice, considering that this game is 100% about guns. Why not choose the Gunzerker?
Right, that was kind of my thinking, exactly.
So. I feel like he's kind of the face of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I can really relate to the character.
Yeah,
here.
He's short. He's kind of angry. I think he's of Latin descent.
Definitely.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
That's Joe right there in a nutshell. All right, so first and foremost, we really want to thank everybody who went ahead and listened to or watched or even just happened to click on anything relating to that first episode that we did. We really, really appreciate any bit of support that we're getting, even if it's from people who don't necessarily, aren't necessarily into video games, but just kind of want to see what we're doing. We are trying to build a community around all of this, and any support that we get from people on Facebook or Twitter or on YouTube is much appreciated. So just want to put that out there. We really appreciate it, and we thank everybody who took the time out of their lives to watch what we had put together. Secondly, I wanted to share with everybody the social network piece that we are doing, because this is not just a YouTube show, even though it is a YouTube show. We also want to incorporate a community on Facebook and a community on Twitter where people can kind of talk about gaming and experience all that stuff with us, because, that's really what this is all about, is connecting with people who have similar interests as us. So the Facebook, all this stuff is pretty much the same, so it's going to be pretty easy to remember. The Facebook is facebook.com/expgamingshow, and the Twitter is @expgamingshow. So either follow us on there or like us on Facebook, and we will definitely say hi to you and, get you involved with some of the conversations we're having. So we hope to see you on those social networks, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say. The third thing is that we had some questions come up where people weren't 100% sure that we were actually playing this game while we were recording the audio, and the truth is that Joe is actually playing this game right as we speak.
I promise.
Yeah, he has a controller in his hand, he is playing, he's shooting that gun right now. That would be so hard to time if we weren't actually doing it. He's moving forwards, now he's going to move backwards. See? I can prove it. So, Joe is absolutely playing the game, and that's kind of the whole idea behind the show, is that we are experiencing it and we're going through it, and we can show you cool stuff while we talk about everything on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last thing I want to talk about is we want to do a drawing to celebrate the launch of this endeavor. The way that we want to do that is we want to give away a free copy of Fable 3 as soon as we hit 100 likes on Facebook. So the idea behind this is to get you involved and to help build the community around experience points. So what we want to do is, as soon as we hit 100 likes on Facebook, we're going to give away a copy of Fable 3. So we're going to have a raffle, and we will draw a name, and that person will receive a free copy of Fable 3. So even if you don't like video games, if you know someone that does, or if you know people on your Facebook wall or on your Facebook friends list that do like video games, please share this with them. We would love to have them as part of our community and as part of the conversation.
Of course, as it goes with every drawing, no purchase necessary, etc., etc.
Yeah, you don't have to buy anything. All you have to do is click like or get one of your friends to click like, and as soon as we hit that 100 likes on Facebook, we're going to give away that game, and then somebody gets to enjoy an awesome video game, and we have more likes on Facebook, so everybody wins.
That's a huge win.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a great win for everybody involved.
I'm really excited.
Me too. So, as you can see, we're playing Borderlands 2 today. Borderlands 2 came out earlier in 2012, and it is definitely one of the best games of the year. I've had the great opportunity to play through it with a lot of different friends. And if you don't know a lot about Borderlands, there's basically one word that sums up Borderlands, and that's guns. This game is all about guns. I think there's actually is there infinite permutations of guns in this game?
Yeah, originally I think when they had first announced the first Borderlands, and this stands true for the second Borderlands, they had said there was some unimaginable number, like 18 billion different types of guns.
Yeah.
Because basically it kind of comes up with guns as it goes along. It can sort of combine different.
It's almost like the random dungeon generator aspect of
Right.
like a RPG, where they can use different statistics and features and abilities to kind of randomly generate guns. And they do a really good job of scaling as you go through the game. But so you start off with pretty weak guns, and then as the game goes on, you earn like elemental powers and really cool things like that. And I, for one, think that is the main appeal. The other thing about Borderlands that's important to know is that there's 5 different classes that you can pick from. And essentially all these classes play pretty much the same at the beginning, but then as you go through the game, you unlock different abilities and different kind of perks that person can get or that character can get, and that changes the way that they play. So, for instance, Joe's playing the Gunzerker right now, and once the Gunzerker hits level 5, he's going to unlock an ability that I think allows him to like dual wield guns and basically just go like on a crazy rampage, which is something that the other characters can't do. So there's a character called an assassin that can turn invisible and create a decoy of himself. There is a character called a siren that can create kind of like a time warp singularity thing in the battlefield. And there's a couple other ones. There's one that's a DLC character called the Mechromancer that actually allows you to summon a robot companion to help you out. So I think that is the coolest power in the game. But
That is pretty awesome.
I actually just played that for the first time the other day, and it was really, really cool. Just having like a companion to distract the enemies, it makes a big difference in a game like this, because there are a lot of enemies in this game.
Yeah, this is already, I'm kind of starting to get swarmed here, but as I understand, I think we're actually going to be seeing one of our friends in this game coming up pretty soon. Isn't that right?
One of our friends, oh yeah. There's a character in this game named Sir Hammerlock, who is like this safari jungle explorer looking guy, and he looks and sounds exactly like one of our close personal friends. And if any of us know who we are or know our friends, you will definitely recognize this person. He's a famous composer.
It's going to be immediately obvious.
It's going to be immediately obvious.
Yeah. But this game, I mean, I honestly, like, in playing this a little bit more now, I've realized, like, the first one, when it came out, it was a really different game. They had kind of decided that they were going to do originally a more photorealistic feel for the game, and, they wanted it to look like real life. And then later on, they decided, hey, why don't we kind of take a new approach to this, and they actually decided to do this really cool cel-shaded look that you're seeing here with, these really dark sort of outlines on everything. So, I mean, I really liked the change to this kind of art style, and it's definitely something. Here we go. This is this is him. Awesome character, by the way. But I was definitely kind of really happy about that change when they first decided to do that with the game, and I think it really works for the style. It definitely fits.
Absolutely. I think part of that, too, and the reason why it fits so well, is that the writing of this game, and it's kind of hard to tell because, obviously we're talking over all this dialogue that's happening here, but it's very, very humorous. So the whole idea is that I think pretty much every line in the game is a punchline. There's not a whole lot of, like, heavy-handed writing, and the game does not take itself too seriously. So the cartoony look kind of fits with that attitude of just a lighthearted kind of romp. Even though there's all this gore and violence happening, it's still hilarious the entire time. If you guys play Borderlands 2, I would love to hear if anyone has a favorite character or has a favorite way of playing, or I don't have a whole lot of experience playing Borderlands 2. I've played through most of the game, but even though I had the opportunity to play with some friends here and there, I didn't really have an opportunity to play through the entire game with a friend, and I know that according to what I've heard, that's like the way to play Borderlands 2. Is like you do the co-op thing online, and you can play up to 4 players, and essentially everybody just works together, and the enemies scale with you. So as you get more people in the game, the enemies become harder and the challenges become more difficult. But that's all really we have to say about Borderlands 2. You guys are going to see it more and more as we go through here. And this is, just so everyone knows, it's not a huge spoiler if you see this stuff, because this is the very, very beginning of the game. So this is right after you kind of take off the training wheels and start actually playing. But
now, for those folks in our audience who actually do play this game, there is something that's coming out that might be interesting to them.
That's true. Actually, tomorrow, Sir Hammerlock's, I think it's called Sir Hammerlock's, let me see what it's called exactly. Sir Hammerlock's
Big Game Hunt, right?
Big Game Hunt?
Big Game
Is that the name
Hunt.
of it?
I think so.
Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt is the brand new DLC that comes out tomorrow, and hey, look, there's Sir Hammerlock. So I was watching a live stream of it earlier today on IGN, and it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good. I think it was takes place in kind of a jungle bayou area, or at least the area that I saw was like that. They were fighting witch doctors. So yeah, that comes out tomorrow. It'll be on Xbox Live and the PlayStation Store.
That's awesome, man. I'd love to be able to check this out. I feel like I don't get to play enough DLCs ever.
Well, they're expensive, and sometimes they come out, after you're already, you're done with the game, you've kind of put it aside, and you've moved on to something else, and then there's DLC for it, and sometimes there's not enough reason to go back. Especially, it's like, oh, I'm going to pay more money to go back and play this DLC when you've already started a new game, and it's like, you kind of want to either finish the game you're on, and then by the time you're done with that, you may or may not be interested. Now, there was a few DLCs that came out last year, specifically Dawnguard and Dragonborn, which did actually end up bringing me back into Skyrim, which I had stopped playing. So I know that's the goal of these DLCs, is to take people who had kind of stopped enjoying the game and give them something new to do. But in the case of Borderlands 2, I haven't even really seen everything there is to see in the vanilla game, so I would much rather finish that than pay another, $10, $15 for a piece of DLC that I may or may not finish either. The next thing we want to talk about is something that's really cool coming out of Microsoft that we just saw at CES this last week, and that is the Microsoft IllumiRoom. The IllumiRoom is something I honestly did not see that coming at all, and it seems to be it's definitely a point of interest for me. Basically what it is it is a projector that I believe sits behind the television that projects light and images onto the wall behind the TV. So if you've seen those TVs that kind of have colored glows behind them, it's that same concept, except taken kind of to the next level, where you have an image actually behind the television.
Right. So the idea of it, I guess, is that Microsoft wants to make the experience of all these, especially first-person shooters, although they do showcase other types of games. Like there's a racing game in the trailer, and I think a couple of other ones. That might be it, actually, like a first-person shooter and a racing game. But essentially,
there was like a young girl playing like a Mario Kart type game,
right?
And then there was an older guy playing a first-person shooter. It was kind of sadly stereotypical, but it was it demonstrated the core concepts of the equipment for sure. It
certainly did. I think it felt like a Microsoft proof of concept video.
Yeah.
It had that same feel. But I mean, it's an interesting idea and something that I think has a lot of potential, definitely, but is still totally in its early stages. Now, one thing that really I was surprised about regarding the video was that Microsoft was actually saying that all of the footage from the video, which we will of course link to, and you can kind of decide on your own here, but all the footage, they said, is not rendered, so that it was all just recorded in real time. And if that's the case, then I'd be really surprised to see like how far they actually end up taking it in the kind of full version.
Yeah. Well, because the video that it showed, and I would recommend that you look it up, and we'll post links down below that so you can watch the video that we saw, because there's really only one video of the tech demo, and the video that I saw, it kind of turned the whole room into your video game. To sum it up.
Yeah, that's basically it. Have you felt like that would be a little bit too much almost? Because that was sort of the initial feeling I had.
Well, it depends. Like a room that I have, I think it might be because there's like next to my TV, there's books and there's objects and there's things on the wall. I would really have to, rearrange. Microsoft's always trying to get me to rearrange my living room.
They just
I just
kind of
realized that they just want me to move my furniture and redecorate my walls so I can play with their new stuff. Yeah, like my Kinect, I have my couch is like a foot and a half back from where we originally put it because we wanted to be able to do the Dance Central thing in the living room without having to move the couch every time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would really work in this room right now without doing some serious rearranging of the furniture. But, when they showed this, what it really made me kind of think was, is this going to actually be, is this what we're seeing in terms of the first hints of what's coming down the line with Microsoft's next console? I mean, is that something that you think is going to be just like integrated into the next Microsoft console, whatever that is?
I definitely think at least, if anything, it's going to probably ship alongside of it. They'll probably make a bundle of some sort and throw it along in there for God knows how much more money. But I definitely think we probably will be seeing it in the next generation simply because, it kind of doesn't seem like something they would want to push in this gen. We're almost out of this generation.
We're almost done. I mean, my thought is that we're going to see a new Microsoft console this winter.
Can you believe that? Isn't that crazy? Like, we used to talk about the next-gen console like it was, I don't know, this, like, going to visit a black hole, Like, you never actually thought that it would happen.
Right. Especially because, I don't ever play my Xbox, and I know I'm not like I'm not a member of the PC master race, but I don't have a lot of complaints about the technical limitations of it, which makes me think that I'm going to be super thrilled when I do see what a new console looks like. Because when I played my Super Nintendo, I could see places where that could be better.
Oh, absolutely.
Very clearly. And when the N64 came out, I was like, okay, yeah, these are the places where Super Nintendo wasn't doing so great, and this is clearly better in a number of ways. But when I play games like this, or when I see games like Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which as much as I don't play that game, but the graphics in that game are incredible. It doesn't make me immediately think, oh, we need to move to the next gen. And I think that's part of the reason why it's never seemed really close, because this doesn't seem old.
Right.
And the games that are coming out for Xbox are still extremely fresh.
Yeah, that's what I like, that they haven't totally abandoned, this generation yet, and that there's still going to be some stuff. We'll kind of get to this a little bit later in the episode, but there's still some life left in this generation.
Absolutely.
And not just some, but my God, I mean, there's going to be some really impressive stuff next year, as long as it actually comes out.
Yeah, I think most of it will. Now, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But just to give you a tiny bit more info about the IllumiRoom system, it's actually a partnership between Microsoft and Samsung. It's going to use the room data from your Kinect in tandem with the projector to display parts of the screen, including images from the game, directly onto your walls.
Yeah, and it actually, the one thing I was really surprised about when I was showing my girlfriend this was that she saw kind of the things that it can do on the walls, and actually like displaying things like fire and things like power-ups that you would see in a regular game, showing that on the walls. And she was like, yeah, that's actually really cool. And I was like, wouldn't you just be motion sick? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it would make me. It wouldn't. I didn't get that feeling like it was going to make me motion sick while I was watching that tech demo. We'll see too, because like you were saying earlier about the it being behind the TV. That's one thing that I'm actually really interested in seeing, is like, what is going to happen? Like, where are they going to put this thing? Because it's going to have to be somewhere where it can actually project onto like the front of your TV.
I wish I could have seen. I mean, I'm sure it's a prototype and it looks like garbage, and that's probably why they didn't show it.
Right.
But I wish I could have seen the actual piece of electronics that was driving it, because it could be. It looked like it had a lot of room for improvement. It looked like there was the picture very much looked like a projection.
Yeah, that was sort of what I thought too. And then when they sort of backpedaled and said, "Yeah, no, it's real," and this is...
Oh yeah, this wasn't like a tech demo in that, they had it running. It was doing its thing live while they were doing it. It was like a real working prototype. So that's something that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you see people put out proof of concept, but it's like it's like a CGI movie or something like that, and it proves the concept, and they can say they're working on it all day long, but at the end of the day, unless they've actually put something out. But this is actually for Microsoft. I'm really happy that they did that, because sometimes I'm not always sure what's real and what's actually just being used as a marketing tool.
I'm definitely, overall, I would say, if I had to kind of sum up my feeling about this, I would say I think it's cool that Microsoft is still trying to move into new directions. I think that it might be worth for them to try to keep these sorts of things as much of a secret as possible, because I do want to be surprised by next-gen stuff when it actually does come out.
Absolutely.
I do, kind of like that feeling of like, oh, wow, I had no idea about this, whatever it is. But I think that overall, it's something that's good for the industry, just because we get to, see these new types of technologies that may not ever exist, but that we know that these companies that we're, spending all this money on and buying things from are actually spending the time to do it and the R&D. So what about you? What do you think, Michael?
What do I think?
Yeah, what's kind of like your
To
summary?
sum up my thoughts on the IllumiRoom, I think it's exciting. I think it would be awesome to turn my house into a dance club with Dance Central 3. But I don't know if it's something that would really genuinely add to an experience in a meaningful way, only because Microsoft's track record with this kind of stuff is a little shaky. They kind of promised that Kinect was going to add to the experience in a meaningful way, and it never really did. And, even Wii makes me wary of things like this, because as much as I wanted the Wii to really do something new and different, it never really did either. I mean, the best games for Wii with the new technologies and things like that, it's Mario Galaxy, which is barely even a Wii game.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's, the Wii game that comes to mind, that's something that actually did something with that tech, was Skyward Sword, and it was the last big Wii game to come out, and then that was it.
Right.
And it took all the way through the hardware's entire lifespan to actually do something meaningful with it. So it's not just a distrust of Microsoft and their ability to do it, but it's a distrust of the entire industry to actually take these new technologies and apply them in meaningful ways.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's up to these companies in the end to decide how they're going to use it, and if they use it in a great way, then that's awesome. But yeah, I absolutely know what you mean. I mean, I know we were talking about earlier before we started the video about Project Milo. I don't know if you wanted to mention that.
Well, I mean, but it's that kind of stuff where we see those kind of things, and it looks really cool, but it never comes to light, or the reality is not nearly as fun as the tech demo was. I'm going to tell you something. You're on like this quest to find all these audio logs right now.
Yeah.
They're annoying as hell to find. So I would just move on to a different
quest.
quest.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that, because I was like, I don't even necessarily want to be doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to.
You're in the Premier Club though, so that's exciting.
Oh, great.
Absolutely.
There's something to look forward to.
All right, so this is going to be here's the meat of what we're going to be talking about tonight, and that is 2013 and up and coming games, and what we're excited for, and what you're excited for, and what all the people who make money off video games are excited for, because there's a lot of cool stuff coming out in 2013, not only with new and better and bigger hardware, but also new games, new handhelds, new iOS stuff. I mean, there is a ton of cool stuff coming in the pipeline. So we're going to talk about our most anticipated games for 2013, and I'm going to let Joe start this, and he's going to tell you all about what he's really excited for in 2013.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many here. Oh my God, there's so many I want to talk about, but I guess I just have to kind of start somewhere.
Whittle it down.
Yeah, right. And I want to know too. Let me just. Oh, they want me to. Oh, you want me to clear the pond? Is that what you'd like me to do?
I think it's down. It's down off the cliffside.
Straight
It's right to your right. Look.
Oh, cool. Just around the corner.
Yeah, it's down there. You can just jump down there. There's no fall damage in Borderlands, which is fantastic. You can just like fly off cliffs and nobody cares.
This is amazing. Okay, perfect. So probably the first thing that I wanted to mention about, and I know that some of these, I'll just kind of give a little disclaimer here. Some of these are going to be kind of like TBA. I don't know. Did you make a rule for yourself about that?
No, I mean if it's right now planned on coming out in 2013, then it can be on the list.
You're okay with it, all right?
Yeah,
perfect.
Regardless of my personal opinion of whether it's actually going to come out in 2013, you're so dead. Oh,
nah.
Oh! You punched those dudes in the face.
Punched them to death. So that's perfect then. So that's kind of the thing that I was thinking about too when I was going through this list. But the major ones, and I'll be completely honest, like I had to, whittle this down a lot because I didn't want it to take forever. But I'll just get right into it. The first and probably the most important one here that I am really excited about is The Last Guardian. Now, The Last Guardian is going to be a game, as I understand it, from the same folks, and I don't need to change my appearance, that did things like, games like Ico, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Ico and Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus, right, exactly. And those two games, I actually haven't gotten a chance to play Ico yet, and I'm kind of going to work on that in the near future. But, the thing about at least Shadow of the Colossus for me was it was just such a huge game and such a different take on kind of that genre. I thought it was really refreshing. I really liked it, So
yeah.
with that, I'm really looking forward.
What genre would you call that?
I guess like
it's like an adventure.
It was like the adventure game, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's kind of what's cool about it. Like you have to ask yourself, what do I actually want to do in this?
It's like a boss battle game. I don't even know. That's the only thing I could use to describe it because you only fight the Colossus.
Right. It's like I don't know. It's kind of like Monster Hunter, I guess, in that way. But I mean, and then again, completely
that's such
different.
A loose comparison.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I know.
I know why you said that.
So, with that, basically, as far as the story has been released, what they're going to do is basically have this guy who is protected, I guess, by this giant, I don't know, bird dog.
I don't know what you call it. It looks like
kind
of like a griffin or like a hippogriff or something like that.
It's some crazy creature, and the creature, I guess, helps you out. You go around and do puzzles similar to Ico or Shadow of the Colossus or anything in that genre, and it just looks really great. They've released kind of a tech demo. I think it was last year was really the most recent time. Right. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be an exclusive, which again I know you'll be very sad about. But with that, it just really seems like it's going to set the bar high, especially visually, I think is the most important thing to keep in mind. It just looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
Even like we were saying about this griffin dog thing, like every feather, every hair, like every movement is so perfect. Well, it's beautiful.
And that perfectly exemplifies why I'm not at all like concerned about this generation being over. It's like they can do stuff like that on the PS3.
Yes. So
that's why I mean, I understand that the industry definitely needs the shot of adrenaline that'll come with a brand new console generation. But I'm not complaining about this one by any means.
Yeah, me neither. I think that too. Like those people who say that this generation is dead, like it has life. We're going to.
It has life,
year.
and it has like. Think of how many classic games. Like, imagine you're 10 years later. Imagine how many classic games are available for the current generation of consoles that people will always be playing. I mean, people are still playing Mario Kart 64, so. If that's the case, doesn't that mean that people are going to continue to play all the classic games from this generation all the way into the future?
Yeah, I really hope so. But I would say, that's one of the major ones that I'm really excited about. I'll move on to the next one, and I'll try to be brief so that Michael has some time to actually talk about. Is the next one that I wanted to talk about was Firefall. Firefall is kind of this open world MMO that I first saw at a booth at PAX when I was at PAX in, I want to say like 2 years ago. I mean, it's been a long time. And
I don't think I've even heard of this game. Firefall?
Yeah, Firefall. So it is going to be a PC game. It will be, free to play.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically this kind of open world that has the same style as it kind of looked like StarCraft, honestly. I mean, that's sort of the visuals that they're doing. Yeah, which is not a coincidence. I mean, the most of the development team used to work for Blizzard.
Oh, so are you saying the art style is like StarCraft?
Yeah, the art style, and it's sort of like a mixture between StarCraft art style and something like...
Joe, you just shotgunned...
Like Gears of War.
You sniped a midget in the face.
Is that... I think like the ACLU is going to come after me now or something.
Yeah, that is definitely... You did something wrong there.
So with that, the reason that I'm really excited for Firefall specifically, and I guess I'll leave that guy alone, is that... they're trying to do, again, sort of like what Guild Wars was trying to do, like make a AAA title that is also going to be, free to play and just a great game with like a lot of content, free updates, all the stuff that we've come to expect from like games like Guild Wars.
Is it subscription based too?
So it won't be subscription based, and you don't even have to pay for it the first time.
So how are they making money? Is it all microtransactions?
It's all microtransactions, yeah. And a lot of it, I think, is going to deal with appearance as well, which is always something that people really worry about with these games.
So you can still like level up and be a strong character without paying.
Right.
But if you pay, you can probably look way cooler.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be, so much cooler, yeah. And even just to begin with, I mean, the characters themselves are already cool to start with, and the art design is way cool.
Is it like fantasy, or is it more like sci-fi?
It's definitely sci-fi.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah. And it... there's just in the tech demo that I played, and I actually got to play the game myself, there were crazy things that were like drop ships and that you could like ride on, and people could drive you to the front line. I know that's probably starting to sound similar to something like
I have no idea. I haven't played an MMO
or something
in a very long time.
Yeah, I think you're
WoW is
probably
the last MMO that I played.
You're probably better off, honestly.
You got to blow up that box over there, although you're going to die before you have an opportunity to do that.
Can I?
You have to blow that up to get through the electricity. That's neither here nor there. What's your last anticipation? Because we don't have a lot of time.
Okay, all right. So the last anticipated game I'd say is, I'll kind of put these together. Beyond Two Souls is a game, kind of the next game from David Cage, who gave us... I believe it, now I'm blanking, of course. David Cage gave us Heavy Rain.
Oh, Heavy Rain. I didn't play Heavy Rain.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, really great game. Once again, I believe that is going to be a PS3 exclusive.
And that's the one that Ellen Page did all the... It's like her model.
Right, exactly.
And her voice.
Exactly. So Ellen Page is voicing the entire thing, and she's kind of like the protagonist of the story. And pretty much the way I understand it is you're going to be going around as Ellen Page... and as
living out my fantasy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Being Ellen Page ever since I saw Juno.
But what's kind of different about it, what I like at least, is that, as you're going around as Ellen Page and doing kind of
doing Ellen Page things.
Yeah, exactly. You'll
manipulating
also
dreams and such.
Right. You'll also be able to actually leave your body and go around as this like kind of ethereal soul character.
What?
Yeah, and that's sort of how they're going to use that to do like puzzles and things like that.
Cool.
So you'll have to like leave your body to do certain types of puzzles. And,
nice.
And it should be really cool. It also it has that super photorealistic feel of Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
And if you haven't played Heavy Rain, that was an amazing game.
I'll have to check that out because
Yeah.
I never did play it, even though I had heard good things about it. But I just kind of heard that it. From what I heard, I nothing really kind of was like, oh yeah, I got to play that. It was just kind of, if you like kind of cool mystery adventure games, this is the way to go.
Oh, it's so much more than that. It's probably one of the most emotional games that I've ever played. And I'll be honest, like I have no qualms about telling people this. Like I definitely cried multiple times during the story.
You're such a loser, Joe.
I know. Yeah, it's really sad. So I think that's it. I don't want to take up all the time that we have.
Man, you left me all the good ones.
Oh,
I
perfect.
Get to say all the good ones.
That's what I was hoping to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Number one most anticipated release of 2013 is StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm.
Oh my god, yes.
But this is only because, and honestly, it's not going to be a revolution by any means, but it's just going to be so much fun. Like, the campaign of Wings of Liberty, because they did not care about balancing the game in any way, shape, or form, there was so many fun units to play around with, and the missions were so fun that I am so excited to play through the single player of Heart of the Swarm, because A, it's a Zerg campaign. You get to play as alien bugs, step one.
Yeah.
Step two, you get to play as Kerrigan, who's like the hero of the game. So it's not like StarCraft Wings of Liberty, where each mission you kind of start from scratch and build up your army. Kerrigan builds throughout the game like an RPG. So I'm looking forward to doing that. You get to choose how your units are upgraded. You get to choose how Kerrigan's upgraded. And then you've got the whole multiplayer aspect, which I haven't even touched. The brand new BattleNet 2.0. I mean, all of it is absolutely fantastic.
And just
we played the beta
yeah.
of the multiplayer, and it's great. It's absolutely great. It's really, really fun. They've done a great job listening to fan feedback, which has been, I think, a weaker point in in Blizzard's history. Not, it's not. They haven't been as bad as some other companies, but there's been. I think Diablo 3 was an example of maybe a place where they could have listened to the community a little bit more at the beginning. But I think they've really learned their lessons from a lot of those games. Dustin Browder, the game director, has been all over the community and really been communicating with everybody about what's to come in Heart of the Swarm, and it's just going to be awesome. One of the things that we're planning on doing is being right there at the midnight launch and doing a little bit of a StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm themed show for you guys to enjoy, for anybody who actually really wants to, celebrate the release, because StarCraft 2 in itself was 12 years in the making, and then this is the first expansion, and there's going to be one more after this. But yes, absolutely number one most anticipated release of the year. And Joe, I know you're excited for that too.
Oh, I am so excited. One of the main things, just like you were saying, that, and we've been talking about this recently, especially about like the user interface of BattleNet and stuff like that, is they've really decided.
Better.
Yeah, they were like, okay, we're going to listen to the community. We're going to like apply the things that we've learned and the things that we know that aren't working, and we're just going to fix them.
Yeah.
And they've really thought hard about the features that they've added. It doesn't seem like they've just sort of been throwing things left and right to see what works.
Absolutely not. I mean, even the LAN issue, which nobody knew how that was going to be solved, because there was a couple big tournaments where the connection actually dropped in the middle of an important game, which really was a big egg on Blizzard's face. But they've come to actually create a solution to the LAN problem that actually solves even more problems than just the LAN problem. So they actually are introducing something called Resume from Replay, which if you drop your connection, you'll be able to pick up right where you left off. But let's say somebody's keyboard stops working, or somebody's computer blue screens. Those are problems that even a LAN connection wouldn't solve.
Yeah. And
these are things that are not going to be a problem with the new StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm expansion. So that is awesome. Blizzard's doing a great job. They deserve a bunch of praise. Pandas aside, I think that they're fantastic, and I am really, really looking forward to playing Heart of the Swarm a whole bunch in the coming year. My number 2 most anticipated game, and we talked about this last time, is BioShock Infinite. There's not really much more to be said about BioShock Infinite than I said last time. That game looks fantastic. Everything I've heard about it seems fantastic, and we're going to be right along with it when it launches, and we're going to show you everything you need to know about playing BioShock Infinite and all the cool stuff that's going to be coming along with that. So I'm not going to say too much more about that because we talked about it a bunch last time, but BioShock Infinite, absolutely. Another big anticipated one is Pokemon. I'm not going to talk about that either. We talked about that enough last time. But I would like to talk about a game that's going to come out this May called The Last of Us. And there's a couple reasons why I'm really excited for The Last of Us. One, Uncharted. I could just say Uncharted. That's a reason enough.
Yes.
Uncharted was a series on the PlayStation 3, for those of you who don't know. That was kind of like an Indiana Jones type adventure, and there was a lot of great gunplay and great platforming. And the same studio that put that together, called Naughty Dog, is putting together a brand new game called The Last of Us. And Joe knows a little bit about The Last of Us.
Yeah, I mean, The Last of Us, I don't know if you already mentioned, because I was deeply involved in that.
Gun-zerking.
That was insane. But, I mean, it takes place in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah. And it basically tells the story of this girl who you're not exactly sure why, but she kind of needs to go across, the U.S. or at least like cross some area.
They actually haven't released much of any details about the story other than like you play as the transporter of this young girl.
Right, exactly.
That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
there's zombies.
It. Right. Now, we don't know why there's zombies or what's causing that to happen. We don't know like what kind of zombies they are even.
I saw a picture and it kind of looked like there was a fungus growing out of its face.
Right. Yeah. It seems to be like it's probably going to be like something like a disease or something like that. Something like what was that movie? God, I can't remember.
28 Days Later?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know why I can't remember that name.
It's because you're fighting this badass bully mom.
Yeah, right. This guy is ridiculous. He is just not cutting me a break here.
I think you got him. You got him. Yes.
Perfect. So with that...
Sorry, I needed to give Joe some encouragement there so we could kill that guy.
What they're trying to do, I think, with the game is, give it a very emotional feel. They want you to be really invested in the character development and, how they change throughout the story. And it's really kind of, I think it's also probably going to be something of a kind of coming of age story as you...
For the girl?
Yeah, exactly. As she kind of moves around and loses her innocence.
Right,
and like,
well, she's going to have to... Well, part of me agrees with you, but part of me thinks that she's already maybe gone through that because I think the world has been infested with zombies for a while when we start.
I see.
She's probably she probably already knows how to use a gun, See,
and that's something you see too, is that, in the clips that they've shown from the game, she actually does participate in the fights.
Yeah, which is, I can't wait to hear what Fox News has to say about, a young girl. I mean, probably 12, 13 years old, handling a gun in a video game. I can't wait for that conversation.
Yeah, it is. That's definitely going to get heated. I mean, I'm sure this next year is going to have no fewer crazy kind of, Fox News scandals about video games than every year before.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So that's at least kind of my take on Last of Us, but it is going to be an Unreal game. That's a PS3 exclusive too, right?
Yeah.
Did
all
you
the Naughty
that?
Dog games are, because I think that studio is actually owned by Sony. They were the ones who did Jak and Daxter back on the PS2, and then they did Uncharted, and then now they're doing The Last of Us. One of the things that we're seeing in The Last of Us, which is actually something that we're seeing a lot in a lot of these new modern games, is there's a big push to make an NPC companion that you care about. So if you're listening to this, you don't know what an NPC is. An NPC is a non-player character that you don't control directly, but that is interacting with you as a player in some way. And in this case, you're escorting this girl, but in BioShock Infinite, it's kind of the same thing. You're escorting a girl, and they want you to, they definitely want you to have an emotional connection to that character. Oh, we're gunzerking?
Yeah, I mean, I had to. The second I got it, I was like, okay, this has to happen.
Gunzerk.
This is pretty ridiculous. I basically now, just to fill you in, when you go into this mode, I believe you can dual wield weapons and you do bonus damage, and I think that's about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's cool enough.
And you can upgrade that as you go through the game. You get perks that you can put into different skill trees, and you can change the way that ability works.
Oh damn! This is just reminding me of kind of all of the stuff that I did in the first game. I think I actually played the equivalent class of this. So
yeah. It's kind of like Diablo.
Yes.
It's very much like Diablo in that the game is very much about getting loot and upgrading your loot, and then you can upgrade your abilities along with it. It's a very, very good game.
Yes, please check it out. That's why we're playing it right now for you guys.
Yeah, we want you guys to see how cool it is, and if you are at all interested, it's available for Mac, it's available for PC, it's available for Xbox, PS3. It's basically available for every console except for the Wii and the Wii U. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I don't even have to append that.
Yeah, right.
I'm just going to say one more thing. We are going to do one final prediction for 2013. So the big prediction for 2013, we only have time for one of them. So, Joe, what's your big prediction for 2013?
Oh, man. I mean, I might steal yours in the process, so I'm sorry in advance if I do. But the next-gen Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably going to try to do what they did with the 360. They want to be first. And it was a big risk for them back then, and it worked out. So I think they're probably going to look at that and say, let's take the risk again. Yeah. It worked out for us once. We'll do it again. Yeah.
And I really hope that if Sony does come out with a new console, which they will eventually, I hope that they learn their lesson about the pricing on the PS3, because it took a really long time for the PS3 to gain traction because the price was set so high at the very beginning. I think it was like $600, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was crazy expensive.
Yep. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. I think we're going to see a brand new Xbox coming out. I think it'll just be called the Xbox. I don't think we're going to see an Xbox 720.
I would hate that
I hope they
name.
drop the number.
Yes.
Because even the 360, I think, is kind of a stupid name. So I'm hoping that they drop the number off the end of it completely. My big prediction for 2013, it's not really a big prediction. I think there's going to be some exclusive... I think Nintendo's going to really step it up with the 3DS in 2013. I think we're already seeing that with the announcement of the new Pokemon game, but I think we're going to see... I think Nintendo's going to step up their game with their first-party exclusives across the line. I think we're going to see a new Metroid game. I think we're going to get a new Zelda game at least announced, probably not for this year, but maybe next winter. And then we'll probably also see the announcement and release of a new three-dimensional Mario game as a successor to Mario Galaxy, which was so baffling to me that we didn't see one of those launch with the Wii U, but they're probably saving it for a time when... they really need to compete with those other consoles, and that's going to be coming up here really quick. I
really hope that that's true.
Me too.
I honestly do. Yeah.
Mario Galaxy 2 is one of the best games that was ever made.
Fantastic. If you want to hear kind of just a quick tidbit about Mario Galaxy 2, I actually applied to a job at Blizzard once as an intern, and you had to, as part of the job application, you had to write a review of a game.
Oh.
And so that's the one that I picked, because
nice.
I was like, of course. They were like, what is your favorite game? Write a review, that you've played recently, especially. Right. That was one of the catches, and I was like, it has to be that. Like, it
Mario
just
Galaxy 2 is, if you have a Wii and you bought a Wii for like Mario Kart and Wii Fit, buy Mario Galaxy 2, because it's probably like $20 at this point.
Yes.
And it's one of the best games ever made. It's just fantastic platforming from start to finish. Yoshi's in it. You can play as Luigi. It's awesome.
And that's not my cat, by the way. My cat's named Yoshi.
No, you can play
as
you can ride the dinosaur Yoshi, not ride Joe's cat.
Yeah,
named Yoshi.
Yeah, that's not.
Which I don't know why.
We don't want that to happen.
No, this hurts the cat.
This hurts us. So was there anything else beyond that prediction?
I don't think so.
I think we've just about wrapped it up here.
We're trying to cut down the length of the show a little bit because we realize it's pretty long. So if you guys have feedback for us or anything like that, we'd love to hear it. Please send it our way. We've really enjoyed you guys listening to the show tonight and watching the beautiful world of Borderlands 2, the snowy, icy tundra of Borderlands 2. And we hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you on the next episode of Experience Points.